Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our final media availability with our Championship 4 drivers. We're joined here first by Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Busch Light Ford for Stewart-Haas Racing. We're going to go ahead and get some wireless microphones sent around. If you've got a question, we're going to start here with Jenna.
Hey, Kevin, Jennifer, AP. I don't know how you think practice went for you because we haven't heard from you yet, but it looks on the board as if the 4 guys, you've got the most work to do. I wonder if you can just take us through.
Yeah, it went good. You know, we missed our travels a little bit the first run and got our car a lot better.
Go next to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. I meant to ask this at Media Day and didn't get a chance to get over there to you, but in 14, you said that this format, this championship, was shortening careers, or you predicted it was shortening careers for drivers. You're here battling it out again 5 years later for a title, and you've been a regular battling it out. Do you still feel that way, or is it?
It's a lot easier now. You understand it.
So it's not as stressful anymore?
No, you just learn how to. It's still stressful. You just learn how to deal with it better.
Go next to Jordan, then to Dustin.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Last night's practice was supposed to be at night. You're not getting a practice session at night now. Is that a big deal? Can you learn anything from this that can apply for tomorrow?
Half the race is in the day, so there's definitely something that applies for sure.
Go next to Dustin, and then to Jacob.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kevin, there was talk about with this package, nobody running on it, that it might change the lines. Is the bottom line a better line, or is it still important to run the top? And how does that change for starts and restarts, and what lane selection you might want to have if you have choice throughout the race?
Yeah, you know, I think that the line is probably not that much difference. It's just, you know, following behind a car is way worse than what it has been before. So you're going to have to be versatile in where you can run on the racetrack and be able to run bottom, middle, and top, because you can't run behind another car.
And that doesn't change anything with start and restart, what lane you might want to
You know, typically the bottom just doesn't go as well with the traction. So we'll see how that goes with the higher downforce and the less power.
Go to Jacob, and go to Claire.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Kevin, obviously with the schedule changes kind of jumbled everything a bit, but what's the emotion around the crew? I mean, you seem largely upbeat about everything. Are you guys really pumped up going into this, having a shot at it?
It's just business as usual.
Go to Claire, and then we'll go to Bob.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. You know, amongst your team, they always say, do what you do, Kevin. When you go into Sunday's race, is there anything else that you think of differently, or do you try to stay on the same path you always do and just do what you do?
Well, you can't really stay on the same path for all the things that they force you to do. So, you know, you can't really be in your normal routine, and you have to know that coming into the week with all the things that are just way out of normal from what you would do on a weekend where you have the choices of things you can do and how you would schedule them. So you have to know that coming into the week and just deal with all the extra things and the extra people and things that come with the week.
What about the race itself, though? During the race, just race the way you
Oh, as soon as that starts, you're like, thank God. I can do what I normally do. So yeah, I mean, once the race starts, it's a little bit different because you don't have the stages that you have to worry about and worrying about stage points. The strategy is really, pretty straightforward as to what you're trying to do, and that's just, be around to have a chance at the end of the race.
Okay, next to Bob.
Hawkers, Fox Sports. What do you think of the decision to have a practice instead of qualifying, and what do you feel any implications are of not having qualifying?
I don't really have any input on any of those, so I don't even worry about things like that.
Well, Kevin, thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep. We're going to continue on now with our Championship 4. We have Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 19 Bass Pro Shops Toyota. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We're going to start with Jenna.
Hey, Martin, you seem pretty good on long runs in particular, and all 3 Gibbs cars are 1, 2, 3. I'm wondering, one, how you feel, and what happens next? Do you guys debrief? Do you debrief together? Do you share?
Yeah, I felt pretty good, for a lot of new things here at Homestead. definitely a lot different than what we've done here in the past, feel-wise, and the way you're driving the car and things. But I felt pretty close. It was good that we were able to make just three long runs. Typically if you're, for me personally, if the car's pretty close, I'll go out there and run a bunch of laps right away. So that's definitely a good sign. The guys did a good job being prepared there, making a lot of good assumptions. And I feel pretty good. I definitely feel like we can get better. So just like every other weekend, it's, how do you get better? Can you do the right things? Can you make the right changes tonight for tomorrow? And then you go race and see how it plays out. But feeling pretty good about things, and hopefully we can get a little bit better. But we have a meeting scheduled. We'll debrief just like normal, and all four of us. Like I said, like we talked about during the week. You gotta keep doing what got you here, right? So, it's a big race, but the best chance for one of us to win is for all of us to do the same thing we do every week as a team, as a group, and we're going to go do that. So, look forward to hearing what the other guys say. And, like I said, we're all a little bit different. Driving styles, crew chief setup styles, things like that, we're all a little bit different. So, it's really just about getting information to help us all make the best decisions we can for ourselves.
Go to Nate, then to Holly.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Martin, just want your assessment of how the lower horsepower, high downforce affects things in terms of outside lane on restarts. And Kevin Harvick said that he thinks drivers will have to be more versatile because you can't run behind another car as much with this package. Could you just react to all of that?
Yeah, no question. That's really been the key to this whole season on these big tracks has been how can you move around? Who can move around the best? You can get a big run on someone down the straightaway, but if you have to follow them through the corner, you're done. So being able to move around is something we focused on. I ran on every inch of that racetrack, just trying to get a feel of what I need for each lane, and hopefully we can go to work on that. So I feel like a lot of the guys that are struggling, a lot of the mid-pack cars, everybody's going to migrate towards the top because there's the most grip rate against the wall. And if you get to those guys at some point, you got to be able to go somewhere. So that's been a key with this package and something we've been working on. So we'll see how it plays out. But it's definitely a lot different, than the past years, just the way you have to drive the place. And, a lot of times you come off the corner and you're like, okay, I could have two cars on my outside, and I'm not, you don't use up all the track because you don't have that speed, that momentum. If you get a little bit messed up getting in the corner, you lose that momentum. The track is way wider than it has to be on exit. It's crazy how much just the entry speed and the momentum of what we're doing here is critical to lap time. So we just don't have any horsepower to re-accelerate, and this place is all about slipping and sliding, but you can't. And as soon as you slide, you lose time. So it's going to be a big challenge to do all the little things right.
Go to Jacob, then to Dustin.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Martin, as you look into tomorrow and what you guys just did in practice, I saw you around your two teammates a couple of times. Were you able to get a feel at all, where you guys were similar? Was there a feel of what, how you guys compare running, directly against one another?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I ran, 8 or 10 laps there with the 11 early on first run, and felt like we were a little bit screwed up there. So feel like we made some good changes to get better, but still there's more to gain. So like I said, we'll just have to try to make the right adjustments from there for tomorrow. I feel like our team's really good at that usually. So we'll just have to see. I felt like it was a decent practice. It's to unload pretty close, like I mentioned earlier, was really a key, and to be able to go out there and just make a long run and see how things played out and go from there. So it was a good place to start from, I guess, and hopefully we can get better from there.
Go to Dustin, then to Jordan.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I have one for Martin and one for Denny. Martin, I know you mentioned being fast on a long run. You can never forecast when a caution is going to come out, but obviously the history of this event is a caution late. Short run speed played a key role last year. How do you feel about your short run speed? And for Denny, you missed the pit entrance there. Can you kind of explain what happened in that situation in the practice, please?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by our takeoff speed, I would say. The three of us going 1, 2, 3 there in practice, and that first lap I was leading the line, and so you're typically a little slower doing that. So I was surprised that we were kind of firing off as quick as we were, and still able to hang on. So it's really about a balance. You got to have both. If you're slow in the long run, you won't be in position to win at the end of the race. You got to have enough to hang on and kind of, be in a decent position if you're going to just worry about the short run. So it's not as clear cut or as easy as we all, talk about it being to choose those things. You got to have a great race car to have either one. Sometimes you just trend slightly either direction. It's not really we're going to go all out on, for here it's so slick and it's so, traction limited that you can't just go all out one way or the other.
What happened with pit road and kind of how your session went?
Yeah, just this is the first year really kind of just gone by marks on the racetrack for pin entry, and I hadn't had a mark here, and obviously a different package slows down differently and whatnot, and just went too far. I'm a feel and visual. I don't have a specific spot where I stop. I just kind of do it off of feel. But this year just had a different process.
Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. For both of you, you guys are okay canceling qualifying?
I was.
Yeah.
It's that good karma for giving up that pit box last year. It all comes back around.
Go next to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Denny, just want to clarify something from last week with Phoenix. It seemed like you guys didn't get information on the last caution if the 18 was going to take 2 or 4 tires. And I'm wondering, was that just the frenzy of late race, or is that something you guys aren't going to be sharing as much anymore? Do you know what the plan is for strategy on Sunday? Will the crew chief share information on that type of stuff?
4 tires.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier here. I don't know. In 2014, we stayed out. It didn't work. But it, I don't know. I think he got confirmation from the 19. And again, it's so different, right? Because the 18, wasn't locked in. The 19 was in the crew chief chat. But he may have got a signal. I'm not sure. Because really, the reason he told me they kind of audibled right there at the end is he was watching the 12 the entire time, and once he saw him take off, that's when he said go. He wasn't looking at the 18, he was looking at the 12, so that tells me he somewhat knew, I guess, what the 18 was going to do.
Go next to Dustin.
Dustin Albino, front stretch. Have you guys done anything this weekend to keep your mind off of racing?
Lost a bet.
Just doing my normal thing. I mean, poor Austin's trying to corral all the crowd. It's just a tough guy there, but I don't envy him. But no, I just, everyone's kind of coming in today for the most part. So just doing kind of a normal thing, just trying to have fun and enjoy everything that surrounds us. I mean, you never know.
How many celebrities you got?
Johnny Morse.
Doubtful. Yeah.
Any additional?
No.
Additional questions? Well, gentlemen, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep. And we're going to wrap up our availability here with our Championship 4 drivers with Kyle Busch, driver the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Raise your hand if you have a question for Kyle.
Can't be much more to talk about. See y'all every day.
Go to Bob.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. What do you think of the decision to have practice instead of qualifying, and do you feel like there's any implications to just not having qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, I thought with the way the schedule was and the way that it was laid out for compromise, it was the best thing to do. So I think practice over qualifying was for sure a good idea, just for the field and kind of the unknown with everything that's coming into this weekend, to have a shot to work on your race car instead of just going out there blind and trying to run as fast as you can for a qualifying lap. So, overall, it's kind of what I would have done, I guess.
Starting on where you're starting versus chance for the pole, give that time on the track.
Yeah, I mean, could we qualify later and then swap back over? I mean, it would be a mess, I guess, I'm sure, for the crew chiefs in the garage and everything that they've got going on to qualify after the Xfinity race or something like that. But there's a big championship celebration and everything that's going to be happening, so just time limited, I guess. So we'll start the way it starts. I think it's kind of, I guess it's good the way that it all laid out. Denny got his pole from last year back for this year, so I think he's back even.
Christian?
Christian Coley at FrontStretch.com. Last night, the team won the Owners' Championship. Do you feel like that kind of gives you any momentum, honestly, in your mind that, hey, we've won a championship already this weekend, we can do it again?
Man, I wish it worked that way. People could say that it kind of did in 2015 when Eric Jones won the truck championship for us and we were able to go out there and win a championship. But I think I remember Christopher Bell winning a championship in 16 for us, and that didn't bode so well. It didn't work, so it didn't matter. So I don't think there's any consolation there.
Go next to Nate.
Hey, Ryan, NBC Sports. Kyle, after being out there with the lower horsepower, high downforce for the first time, what's your assessment? Kevin and Martin both said that it's like mile-and-a-half tracks this year. It's hard to trail other cars, so you're probably going to have to be versatile, be able to run bottom, middle, top. But also, you might not be able to slide the car and lose momentum as much. So your reaction to all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we all expected. It's got some similarities to some other characteristics of vehicles that I've driven here over the course of my career. So kind of think back to some of that and how that all kind of went down and worked out. There was definitely times there in practice I tried to get behind people to kind of feel that out and see what was going to happen. It's I'd say as close to the characteristics of traffic as we've had the rest of the year.
Come down here to Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Kyle, kind of building on what Christian was talking about a minute ago, do you feel like there's any disadvantage momentum-wise for you coming in here, or because it's one race to win a championship, does it really matter all that much what you did before now?
I don't know. I'll let you know in probably 30 hours. I guess the way I look at it is we kind of came in here as the underdog in 15 and wasn't necessarily favored. Many thought that we shouldn't even have been eligible. And so we went out there and stomped their ass and won the deal. So what can you do for me now? This is the way it goes.
Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. How typically for starts, or the start restarts, the bottom lane doesn't maybe wind up as well. With this package, does the bottom line have a better chance, or is it still, if you're in the top lane, you're going to be able to control and dictate things?
I think it depends on where the leader restarts. If the leader chooses the bottom and takes the bottom, I think the bottom will roll. If the leader chooses the outside and takes the outside, I think the top will roll a spot. Too hard to predict right now, but if you're third or if you're fourth, if you're third and the guy goes off in the corner in front of you and really hugs that line and doesn't give you any air, you're screwed. And then if the guy on the outside kind of hugs the guy on the inside, then if you're in fourth, you're screwed because there's just no air. You got to have a middle ground. There's got to be separation for air to be able to get to the front of your car. So, looking at this race today isn't going to tell you anything about what our race is going to look like tomorrow.
It doesn't change your thought process on if there's a leader, what lane you might take?
It does. Yeah.
Go here to the back, right behind you.
Hey, what's up, Kyle? I'm Colby Covington. I'm getting ready for a UFC title fight next month, and I just kind of wanted to hear some advice from you, like what your mindset is going into a championship race.
Don't give a shit about who you're fighting. Go kick their ass.
Like that, bro. Kick some ass tomorrow.
Feelings aside.
And on that note, Kyle, thanks for joining us.
All
Good
right.
luck tomorrow night.
Hope it works for you.